Groupthink Podcast. This is, I don't know what episode, because I don't keep track of these anymore, and they just appear out of order.
How are you just not going to keep track of these?
It's the pragmatic way to do it.
I feel like it's not, but alright.
Who cares? Anyway, on this episode we have our wonderful guest, old friend, Tyler, who I don't know if he wants his last name described on the internet, so.
I mean, it don't matter, it's Webster.
Well, that makes you approximately the third Tyler on the show, so you don't need to make things
What's
even more...
I know you, who's the other one?
Tyler Davis.
Oh, my son. Yeah, that's right, I can't forget about that.
Yeah, he's probably had more episodes than anyone else, actually. He makes for a really good Skype podcast, so...
I miss that kid.
Anyway, we are recording this in the immediate aftermath of the Thor Ragnarok trailer, which just came out yesterday, and the quote-unquote Star Wars big reveal today, which wasn't really all that interesting.
There's a Star Wars reveal today?
Yeah, there was.
Well, that tells you that it wasn't very big if I didn't hear about it.
They came up that over the weekend, they were like, we have the biggest announcement ever for Star Wars, like 40 years in the making, and it turned out it was like an announcement for this year's charity for Star Wars. And I was like, oh. Was it the big news? Like,
unless it's like bringing back everyone that died, suddenly come back to life. I don't think it's the biggest thing ever.
We're gonna CGI Billy D. Williams.
Hey, I wouldn't mind that.
He's not even dead.
Yeah, but he's not in the greatest of shape. That's why he's not coming back as Lando.
That stinks to such an incredible degree. They need to get I want Lando back for one more movie.
Just like CGI his head on some on old Lando's body.
This is why they hired Donald Glover for the new one. So.
Yeah. Hopefully he does well.
I'm sure he will. Sorry. I need to remember what we're actually talking about, so... What's it called on YouTube when you have the little things where you just state everything that's in the video?
I have no idea. I just thought it was
the keyword search, essentially. Like, you gotta put I write down every word ever in the podcast, and that way any possible link on YouTube will link back to the podcast.
Okay.
It's what's in YouTube referred to as being a jerk.
Yeah, but on YouTube you can be a jerk about anything.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. Anyway, so specifically I wanted to bring you on because you're one of the biggest Thor fans I know.
Oh, yep.
And I wanted to kind of get your take on what's going on with the Thor trailer.
All right. What do you want to ask me?
Well, what do you? I assume you like it, offhand. So.
It was honestly probably the best trailer I've seen in a long time through Marvel movies. And I'm really just saying that because I'm a Thor fan. Like, the first two movies, their trailers were like, eh. But this one, I actually will probably most likely enjoy it.
For the record, I'm eating the second half of my dinner while he's talking, so feel...
I mean, I like how they introduced Hela, they introduced Executioner. I haven't seen Amora, which, if Executioner's around, she's not far behind. And they already gave him the assault rifles. That was interesting. I did not see that coming.
The witch?
No, the dude that has the two M16s in the trailer. That's a cover. He is on a cover of, I want to say like 2 something. Yeah, he loses his, or something happens with his axe. But yeah, he ends up using 2 M16s. I don't know how he's going to get in the don't know what they're going to do with that one, but he's going to have it.
They're going full, like, insane with this one, I think.
Like, have you read, like, Thor, like, early?
I've read a little bit of Thor, not as much as other characters, but...
The way they're making Loki's helmet look is... Have you read, like, how Jane Thor is? Like, have you read Jane Thor?
The new version of Thor?
The Mighty Thor? Like, the new, like, where Jane Foster's...
I've read 2 issues of it, and I stopped, but...
It's like... Have you seen how Loki looks in there?
Oh, yeah, he has the hipster-ish look. That...
He's got, like, they made him dressed like Tom, like, he looks just like Tom now, except with stubble. I mean, that's how, his crown in that movie is pretty much how it looks in there, except the horns are not as big as in the comics.
Oh, yeah, he has, like, old school, like, Norse, like...
They're, like, they kind of, like, mixed it in, like, they're just jumbling it all up. And then Heimdall, I don't even know what they did with him.
Well, at least he appears to survive whatever happens during Ragnarok. So
They're not going to just kill off Heimdall.
yeah, you have Idris Elba. You're not going to waste that, even though he hates being in these movies. But
Why would you hate being a Thor? I mean, then again, they probably don't pay him as much as they do with the other people.
well, they don't pay many people a lot. I guess apparently he just didn't like being in the CG harnesses because he'd been. Like, as he said, the month before he shot Thor Dark World, he was Nelson Mandela, so he's like, I could be doing serious roles. Instead, I'm doing Thor the Dark World. Pretentious.
Hey, he could have been James Bond if they let him be. I would have loved it, actually.
Sure. I was in the Thor trailer, I love the helmet for Thor. That's...
And I'm glad they brought that back. Because I'm a classic guy. I mean, it's modern now, but I like Thor with the helmet. I thought he should have kept it throughout those movies.
How far into the first movie did he lose it?
When they're telling him he's going to be the next king, he has it on, and then I forgot where they stopped it at, where he wasn't wearing it, or he took it off when he was talking to Odin. He just never puts it back on.
Yeah, what the heck?
I'm like, you're going to battle most of these scenes. Actually, you should probably protect your hair.
Yeah, it's his perfect movie star hair. You want to protect that.
I mean, if I was Chris Hemsworth, I would.
What's your opinion on the first two Thor movies, like from someone who is kind of biased in favor of Thor?
The start of the first one was alright. They really just made that so people know who Thor is when they do Avengers. Because it's like, everyone knows who Captain America is, everyone knows who Iron Man is, not a lot of people know who Thor is. He's like the kind of forgotten of the Trinity. I mean, I did like they brought in the Destroyer armor. He fought it. Wasn't as big as a fight as I thought it was going to be. You had the Warrior 3.
They have not been as well utilized as they could have been for these past couple movies.
No, they really haven't. Because I'm like, that's who he went on most of his adventures with, is with the Warrior 3. Then they really didn't do a whole lot with him and Sif being like romantically involved, because that's actually who he was romantically involved with before Jane. So I would have liked to see them do like the whole little like jealousy thing in 2, if they ever did that.
They might go back to Sif just because they no longer have Natalie Portman.
I mean, they could. I mean, he didn't always date Jane. Jane was just like the reason why he got interested in Earth.
Well, I didn't know how much Jane was involved in the original comics, because I know the comic version is significantly different, or at least a little bit.
Yeah,
longer.
her friends are. I have no idea who they are.
What's his name? Skarsgård. What's his name? The incredibly Swedish man who's in all of the Thor movies.
That's the gold dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember him being there. I don't remember the girl. And Jane's not a scientist. Jane's a doctor.
Yeah. That's a change.
And then I did like how they did the Donald Blake Easter egg, because that's when he would be Thor. He would smack his hammer down the ground, and he would become a human called Donald Blake.
Why?
With like a walking stick.
The version of the I was kind of introduced to was that he's on Earth for a while as Donald Blake, and then he finds out that he's Thor, and he has to kind of earn back the title. But...
Yeah. And then, they got kind of away from Donald Blake for a while.
Yeah, I don't think they've.
I know when they brought him back in the comics after the whole Ragnarok thing after Civil War, he came back. Donald Blake and him were one again. And then I don't know what happened after that. It's kind of like where I want to say around Fear itself was when I stopped reading it, and then I came back and started reading again around. What's the event I started at? I can't remember.
I'm trying to remember where this was, but I remember reading a decent Thor comic a couple of years ago, where he basically fuses his soul to Mjolnir.
Yeah, that's after he fights Bor, his grandfather. Because in Thor issue 600, Bor comes into the future, or Thor and all of them are at, and is in New York City, and around this time, Thor is trying to gather up the Asgardian stuff, bring it back into Asgard. And he sees this random one. He's like, I don't know who you are, but you're obviously Asgardian. Come on, let's go back with your kind. And he's under a spell, so he's seeing him as like a demon. And he starts fighting. He throws Mjolnir at him. The dude grabs it, and Thor's like, oh no. And they go on for a while. And then, do you know who the Dark Avengers are?
The Dark Avengers?
The one where Norman led the Avengers for a while?
I haven't spent enough time with early 2000s comics, but I've heard of the Dark Avengers. So.
Yeah, so they showed up. This is the first time Thor sees them. And Thor's like, oh, it's oh my god, you're not Iron Man.
No, you're not.
And they're like, he's like, who are you people? And they're like, oh, we're better. And he's like, you guys need to get out of here. This dude's gonna kill you. And they all start fighting. Bor beats the crap out of all of them. And then Bor's doing something that's about to he's pretty much about to destroy New York City. And Thor hits him really hard. And part of the hammer is crumbled off. And then later, he needs to repair it. So he goes to Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange's, I could do it, but I need to know how to do it. And he's like, how about you fuse my soul and the rest of the Odin Force that's in me to the hammer? He's like, alright, I can do that, but remember, next time the hammer breaks, you die.
Does that ultimately pay off later?
I don't really remember.
Lore question that I've never been clear on. What causes Asgard the Asgard to get destroyed and then for them to go to Asgardia?
See, I don't remember all that. That's really where... Actually, on Really Thor, I found out that old Asgard still exists. Which is really weird. So I'm like, well, why does Asgardia exist? And old Asgard's still there.
That's a good question. We should probably be worth looking up.
I should probably look that up, but I'll do that later.
Yeah, if I find out, I will let you guys know later. But I've wondered about that ever since I started kind of dipping into Thor on and off, just because why are they in Asgardia, not Asgard? Because you get introduced to the movie version, then all of a sudden you find the comic version. It's slightly different. It's like, what is happening?
Or the fact that his mom's back out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
What were your thoughts on the Angela reveal for the 10th realm?
It was really... I was kind of in shock because I did read Spawn for a little bit, so it is kind of interesting that they just said, hey, by the way, this Spawn character that everyone from the 90s probably knows, she's actually Asgardian and she's Thor's sister. So Thor, you got Loki, you got Boulder, you got Angela, and you got this little brother. So you probably have a bunch of more kids. You probably have a bunch of more family. Just saying this.
Odin needs to. Yeah, we don't know what Odin's been doing in the background.
I mean, it couldn't be any worse than how Zeus was.
In Marvel, don't most of the mythical gods exist? Because I remember in Infinity Gauntlet, there's the Council of the
Yep, they all exist. I remember because Zeus does exist. Because Thor and Zeus and all of them have fought. I think Buddha did exist too. I know most of the major mythologies exist.
I'm gonna pull out Infinity Gauntlet just to check, just so I can kind of consult it.
I mean, obviously the Greek and the Norse exist because you got Hercules running around.
Oh yeah, you got Hercules, obviously. But...
And then you had Ares running around for a while until he dies in Siege. Spoilers.
For a 10-year-old event.
Still a good event, damn it.
I haven't read Siege.
Oh, that's such a good event.
Let's see if I can find this immediately. Everyone should read Infinity Gauntlet if you haven't.
Yeah, that's what the movies are. That's what Infinity Wars is going to be based off of.
Yeah. Speaking of which, did you see the hammer and the Infinity Gauntlet images?
How everyone says it's supposed to be the Ultimate Universe hammer.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to do it.
Well,
unless in this one they're going to make it. The dwarves make it.
I've been hoping the dwarves would show up because that's a bit of a lore I wanted to see play out in the movies.
Well, I think they should have done for the third movie. I don't know if they could have even done it for the second movie. Had Beta Ray Bill show up.
Oh man, why? I don't know why they've been holding off on Beta Ray Bill.
Well, because I think, honestly, I think the whole thing with Vision, like picking up the hammer, I thought that was stupid. If they should have like foreshadowed that and then have Beta Ray Bill come in and him pick up the hammer, and everyone's like, "Oh shit."
Well, I think the whole point of the Vision twist is that that Vision's going to be the Adam Warlock for Infinity War. So,
God, no! You make Adam Warlock his own character. You don't make him a machine.
I know I want Adam Warlock in there, but I just don't. I think that they're just like, this is one step too weird for us, and we're Marvel. So I don't like it. I want them to bring Adam Warlock in just because he's an awesome character, but
it's like they're not even gonna do the classic Captain Marvel. How are you gonna fight Thanos without the classic Captain Marvel?
Is as in Marvel or
yeah, Marvel. We're not talking about Carol.
You don't like Carol?
I don't mind Carol. It's just like, you know, I didn't mind her taking up the mantle, but like then they introduced like, oh hey, she's gonna be the Captain Marvel movie. I'm like, how are you just gonna jump her straight into Captain Marvel?
I would assume that the introduction of the film is probably going to be like a Kree ship showing up, and Marvel is part of that.
You better be her damn teacher, because if not, I probably will not watch it.
That would make the most sense to me in terms of how you'd approach that. Just like you have Kree ship shows up, explodes, Marvel gives powers. That has to be involved in some capacity. I'm having a hard time finding this in my issue of Infinity Gauntlet.
It's a huge page. It's like literally all of them take up the page.
I know.
You are way before it.
I know. I'm having a hard time.
Oh, good old classic Drax. Back when he used to look like Martian Manhunter.
Back when he used to look like John Cena.
He looked like Martian Manhunter more than he did anything.
Fair enough. Who is this version of Thor?
Which one? That's still regular Thor.
That's normal Thor. He looks different.
Why? Because he has the beard and the helmet.
Kinda. I just
know how often people change their outfits in comics.
Yeah.
How many designs have like Captain America or how many suits has Iron Man gone through?
I'm just thinking it because when I read Secret Wars, they temporarily replaced Iron Man, and it was kind of like a soft twist during the event, so I wasn't sure.
It was Rhodey, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Rhodey, but he was hiding his identity the whole time.
Oh, that's because actually Rhodey did run Stark Enterprise for a while. That was Iron Man. I forgot what happened to Tony.
Okay, I think I found some of the pages with them. So there's the Native American god, there's the Greek gods.
Yeah, they actually have a whole picture of like all of them together.
I know, it's probably much earlier in the book. Can't find it for some reason.
When are we going to get a goddamn Namor movie? That's what I'm waiting for.
I think the rights are chewed up.
For what?
I think Fox has them actually.
Fox just needs to give back the rights
to everything.
Well, yeah, like you're gonna do Infinity Wars, but you don't have the Fantastic Four
or Galactus.
You don't have the X-Men. You don't have Ghost Rider. Actually, you know what? Never mind. We don't need that.
Well, they do have Ghost Rider.
Yeah, they have the new dude.
They just stuck him on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they didn't know where to put him.
How are you just gonna put him on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I feel like he should have just been a Netflix series. Make it brutal. I mean, it worked for Daredevil.
They already had multi-year plans for the Netflix series, though. I don't think they didn't. I guess they didn't want to change it. They were willing to change her Punisher, but
yeah, but I feel like you needed Punisher. Punisher.
he earned it.
Yeah, he did earn it. just that prison scene alone made him earn it. I just wonder if they're going to do what they did in the comics for Bullseye with him. Probably not, considering he's already been to prison.
Yeah, we haven't seen a Bullseye yet in Daredevil. That's interesting.
I figured he'd show up in season 2 as like that. Oh, guess what? I wasn't spoiled kind of deal.
No, Marvel's not good at hiding spoilers.
See
beforehand.
see right here.
Okay.
They're all right here.
Okay, read them off.
Oh my god, I can't even look at half of these. You got the Mayan god, you got Osiris, you got Zeus, you got the Aztec deity, one of the Russian gods, or Russia god, I don't know what it is.
Russia God.
Is
it racist to make a vodka joke?
I don't know. I feel like I'm going to butcher his name. I am sorry for anyone that has to hear me say his name. I apologize in advance. Savrog. And then, yeah, the Native American spirit. Mantu? I think that's what it is. And then you got the Celtic god. So yeah, they got them all here.
And they get locked in a room and they don't contribute for the rest of the story.
Yeah, pretty much. Like Odin does for most everything.
Yeah, what the heck? You have the most powerful, like, Norse god in existence, and all he does is sit on a throne and complain. Isn't that been his entire character during the Mighty Thor arc?
He actually fights Jane in the Mighty Thor arc.
I know he's pissed, but
Yeah, because he's like, oh, the hammer doesn't belong to him. Like, didn't you say who is ever worthy can pick it up? He's just mad because it wouldn't let him pick it up.
it's a metaphor for Marvel hating its fans.
Pretty much, you're going to deball my favorite character and make it Jane.
How do you like the Unworthy Thor comics recently?
I thought that could have been done in a giant size one shot. There was no need for 5 issues.
It's still ongoing, isn't it?
Nope, that was only 5 issues.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Figured it was going to be a lot more than that. Nah, it wasn't.
It was just like, we're going to explain what happened, and then Odison's going to piss off for a while.
It's like, hey, I can pick up the hammer. It's not my hammer, I don't want it. I'm sorry, what?
I didn't read the last issue. What was his deal?
He's like, it's flashing back to like all of his events when he was Thor. So classic Rune King, when he came back, all that, and he's like, "This isn't my hammer." I was like, "Well, yeah, but just pick it up, become Thor for a while, and then go and get James' hammer." And then they actually say why he's unworthy now, and it's because Nick Fury whispered into his ear, Gore was right.
I saw an explanation for what that meant. That was interesting.
Yeah, I haven't read the whole Gore story. I know
That's Silver Age Thor, right?
no, that's like new. That's like 2014.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Unless they did something with Gore back in the old days, but I don't think they did.
Well, and the end of something, what's it called? The Watcher's death storyline.
Original Sin.
Yeah, Original Sin. That was in 2014. So that would have been it meant that Gore was like immediately before that then.
Yeah. Like 2012, 2010.
Okay.
It's in that whole Thor God of Thunder, like, I think it ran for like 46 issues.
Not a bad run.
Nope.
Especially nowadays when they relaunch every 10 months.
Yeah, because Marvel thinks that every first issue is going to be worth something.
No,
Kind of like X-Men Gold.
the most controversial comic in months.
He got fired today.
That was I heard.
He had that coming. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Have you read it?
I read one issue of X-Men, I think Prime, and I was pretty much like, okay, I don't know where this is going, but I'm not getting drawn into it, so...
It's like most X-Men comics. It's like, hey, I'm going to collect one. Never mind, I need to collect all of them to know what's going on.
Yeah, I was reading all different X-Men for a while, but I was borrowing, like, the graphic novels from the library, because they were kind of good, but it just didn't go anywhere for the longest time. Like, they bring back the classic X-Men as younger people to the modern day, which unintentionally causes the time rift that destroys the universe. And,
don't they do it to tell Scott that, hey, you need to stop being a little D-bag?
Yeah, and then that just goes on for, like, 30 issues. I don't think anything happened during the duration of that comic.
All I know is Black Bolt killed him, and Black Bolt just earned my respect a little bit more.
When did he kill Black? When did Black?
Either Death of X or Inhuman versus X-Men, I think. I didn't read it. I just saw a panel. I was like, finally, someone had the balls to do it. I'm like, Wolverine, why didn't you just do it? Someone.
Because modern Wolverine is just an angry old man that hangs out with the X-Men and doesn't do much.
How's that different from, like, old Wolverine?
He used to stab people.
He still kind of stabs people. Now he just does it when you, like, piss him off to the extreme.
Now he's even older.
Yeah. He's kind of like Charles. If Charles was, like, seeing some shit.
Have they figured out a way to bring back Xavier yet?
I don't know. They'll pull something out of their ass.
I
mean, Wolverine's coming back this summer. I'm like, oh, you guys come up for 2 whole years.
Well, I know they just killed Red Skull in the terrible new Captain America comic.
What the hell? I haven't read it yet.
Do you care? He's gonna come back anyway.
Yeah, but I can't read it, motherfucker.
Well, the only thing relevant in that is that it suggests that Xavier's brain is no longer functional for the moment. So.
Yeah, because I remember he tried to do that in Access, where he was going to use his brain. Oh my god, that was just holy shit.
Uncanny Avengers, or
no, in Access, it's pretty much what Uncanny Avengers were in. Have you ever seen Red Onslaught? Literally
yeah,
where it's just Red Skull's face on Onslaught.
Yeah, I remember I read that issue. That was probably one of the worst recent Marvel events, but
it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was
to the point where it's like, okay, maybe we should stop this.
It gets nuts, and all the characters get like rewritten briefly for short times.
Yeah, every hero that was there, it becomes a villain, and every villain there became a hero.
Yeah,
I thought it was funny that they made Sabretooth and Carnage a hero.
I loved the Carnage twist. That was great.
I was like, okay, this is interesting.
Carnage sacrifices himself and then demands Spider-Man build him a statue.
I think they still had the statue somewhere in New York.
I just remember it being horribly grotesque from the way he described it. Can you move that up a little? It's kind of falling. Oh, just pull the back half. Stupid $30 mic stands. Whatever.
Damn, you should have got the $40 one. It might be better.
Maybe. I want the giant $200 one at Guitar Center that's like got a 500-pound weight on the end of it, so it doesn't move.
I feel like that's a bit too much.
I know. I just love it. I used to see him at my school all the time, and everyone kept hitting their head on it.
No.
Anyway,
I'll teach you.
I'm trying to remember if anything else came out of Axis that was interesting. I know that caused like the huge Tony Stark switch, but
I'm not gonna lie, that suit was cool. He should have kept. He should have kept that suit.
What ended up causing him to go back to? Well, did he ever change after the Supreme Iron Man twist, or?
No, I didn't keep up. I don't keep up with Iron Man.
Okay, well, I know that the big joke of it was that they're just trying to make comic Iron Man more like movie Iron Man. So now he went from being a little more subdued post Civil War mode. Now he's crazy Iron Man again.
Yeah, that's because they're like, hey, if we make it more like the movie, we'll get the people that watch the movie to go read.
That doesn't work.
And like, it doesn't work, people.
No one who goes to the movies wants to dig through 800 years worth of comics.
I mean, some people do, but...
Yes, but we're nerds. People who go to see Marvel movies aren't necessarily nerds.
It's more like, hey, I can see shit get blown up. It's like watching Transformers.
Except slightly better.
What do you mean, slightly better?
That's the point.
Yeah, I'm excited for Unicron to show up, finally. I had to wait 5 movies.
You know what? I actually am kind of too. Last summer, I sat down and showed my friends the original Transformers movie. I'd never seen it.
The 80s one?
Yeah.
That was a really good movie.
I'll tell you what, it has the best moment in the history of animated films I've ever seen. It's the kid in Bumblebee are in the rocket at one point, and they're flying away from an exploding planet, and all of a sudden the guy just screams, "Oh, what do we do now?" I was like, wait, what? This is like an 80s kids movie.
It's 80s. They could have got away with that.
Are you sure?
Yeah. PG, you could say shit back then.
I'm hard pressed to believe that, because the moment it happened, everyone in the room just turned to each other and was like, "What?"
Like, they just said, "Oh shit."
In a kids movie, that would never happen nowadays.
The 80s movie, like a PG movie, you can see someone like having a beer. Ghostbusters, they say shit, and that was a PG movie.
That was PG?
Pretty sure it was PG.
Man, the 80s was way cooler than now. I mean, now, just imagine, like, Steven Universe dropping the F-bomb or something. It would be so unprecedented. It'd be
funny.
Oh, it would be great.
I mean, the only reason why they get away with the whole, like, lesbian thing is because they're not technically... They're rocks. The best loophole I've seen in anything in years.
Lesbian rocks?
They're not lesbians. They have no genders. That I know of.
Somewhere Tumblr just squealed.
Probably. Probably gonna get a lot of hate mail. Oh well.
Oh well. Anyway.
But going back to the trailer. Yeah, I want to know is... How did Greymaster get Hulk? And where are they at? Because I don't even know if they're on Sakaar or not.
That's a good question. I'm kind of sad they didn't do, like, a straight-up Planet Hulk movie.
I'm kind of upset that they didn't do, like, Hulk have his own solo movies.
Well, Universal still technically owns the film rights to Hulk, so...
Just give it back at this point.
Yeah,
I mean, who knows? Maybe you'll get a cut of the profits. Maybe.
I mean, at this point, freaking... They managed to make a deal with Sony. Sony! To get Spider-Man back! And they're probably... And they're probably going to get the Fantastic Four rights back soon, because they just transferred the TV rights to X-Men over to Fox, so... I mean, that was actually a contentious issue for a long time. So I would not be surprised if we got a Fantastic Four announcement soon.
Yeah, and not have a crappy looking thing.
We don't need more Josh Trank movies. Thank you very much.
Because we need a Doctor Doom.
Oh man, having Doctor Doom. I hope they do like a Secret Wars at some point if they can get Doctor Doom back.
That's a lot of money for a movie. That's like almost as much as they're probably going to spend on Infinity Wars.
Like a Secret Wars movie?
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of people. That was every Marvel hero and villain showed up on a planet and say, "Hey, duke it out."
You know what? That could be like the best like end movie for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Is like, you know what? We're not making money anymore. Let's see if we can get Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. back for one more movie or something.
They could do it where Spider-Man also got the black suit.
Well, is Sony still doing their terrible Venom movie?
Of course they are. Hey, they don't have to call it Venom.
They're gonna... What the heck? It's Black Space Parasite, the movie.
No, I mean Marvel doesn't have to call it Venom.
Well, why are they... I have no idea why they're even still making that movie, though.
I don't know how they're going to do it. What's he going to be doing? Killing people the whole movie? Like how he did in his, like, 90s run for, like, all, like, 6 issues? That actually had a longer run than I thought. That's really weird.
I've heard 90s Venom is not good. I don't know. Is it?
He just fought people in every one of his comic. Like, I know he fought Iron Man, Wolverine, Hulk, Juggernaut. I'm like, alright, dude, you're just going around duking it out with people. Nova.
When's he gonna show up in the movie, by the way?
He better show up soon. I don't like what they did with Novas.
Well, I think they just kind of established the Nova Corps in the background so they can, like, do something
Yeah,
with
but
it.
Nova Corps actually have powers. They get it from the helmet that they wear.
Well, they didn't spend much time with the Nova Corps, so that could still be a thing.
They better be. Because then if we do a new Warriors movie, we need a Nova.
I think there's actually going to be a new Warriors TV show.
Oh God, please tell me it's not going to be awful.
Yeah, there's also going to be a Runaways TV show.
I never got into the Runaways. I have no idea who they are.
I heard the concept and I thought it was cool, but I don't know anything about it. We're the children of superheroes, and we're going to flee.
Wait, children of superheroes? Like who?
Villains.
Oh.
Sorry, my bad.
I was saying, like, who? I'm like, what kid?
Yeah, there's not a lot of breeding in the superhero community other than, like, Jessica Jones.
Well, you got Wolverine. You got Dawkins from Wolverine. I don't even know what they do with him anymore. You got Scar. Is
Steve Rogers' quote-unquote son still alive?
You know they adopt a kid he had?
From the Iron Nail, not the Iron Nail arc, the Dimension Z arc. If you've read that,
I have no idea.
that is they did that run right before Secret Wars.
That was before when he lost his powers, right?
That was the run. That was the run up to him losing his powers. It's really good. Like,
I didn't read that. I really didn't get back into Captain America until actually now because I wanted to see how everything was playing out.
I haven't I've read a little bit of the new Nick Spencer stuff and I didn't like much of it, but
I know. I feel like this is like, I mean, no one's thought about doing any of this since Captain America's been out.
But
Have him be like, have his mind get rewritten so he's a Hydra agent.
yeah, that was stupid. But the arc before this, right before he lost his powers, it was really good. There was an arc where he got trapped in an alternate dimension controlled by Zola for like over a decade, and he ended up adopting a kid and kind of protecting him.
Huh.
It's like really emotionally crushing too, like by the end of it. But the kid ended up escaping at some point, and he was around for Axis, I think.
Yeah, I remember because I think he said something to Peter or Wolverine, and one of them's like, "Since when did you have a kid?"
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, then again, Hulk's had like 3 to 4 kids.
I know he has kids in Old Man Logan, but
Well, no, like in the actual mainstream universe, he's got Scar. He's got Laura.
okay.
And then he's got, I can't think of the other kid's name. It's Scar's like twin,
Okay.
who doesn't actually like become a Hulk. It's more like he took over the mom's side of Planet Hulk. And then I think there's another one he has, and I can't remember.
Man, we're so far down the rabbit hole it hurts, but
Yeah. Now I'm just trying to think of what other heroes have kids. Because really, they don't. I mean, if you count Scarlet Witch and Vision's kids.
I know Vision, like, he created kids in his recent arc, but
Yeah. I didn't read any of that.
I
I read Champions and the girl said it. And I know she said something about spoilers. That they all died. Like, I'm pretty sure she said either her mom or her brother killed themselves. I was like, oh, well, that got dark and depressing.
I've read the first half of the Vision arc. It's trying to be really, like, deep and thematically complex, and I've only read half of it, so I don't know how it ends, but I've heard a lot of people really like it, so.
I mean, I've never been a huge Vision fan, but
It's a little bit mundane, but otherwise it's fine.
I did like them. Like, I'm like, because he always wanted a family, so it was interesting.
I remember I've read some of the original, like, Vision Scarlet Witch comics from back in the day. 'Cause they did a miniseries with them.
Yeah.
I think that was actually when they revealed that Magneto was her dad. So
Yeah.
that was a weird comic to just find in the middle of nowhere.
Hey, I'm your dad.
What? Like, yeah. Quicksilver's hanging out on the Inhumans moon base. Then all of a sudden Magneto shows up. I am your father.
Oh yeah, that's right, because he was dating Crystal at the time. I think they have a kid.
All I know about Quicksilver is that he's currently hanging out with the Uncanny Avengers, but...
I don't know, I can't keep track of everyone anymore.
Yeah, everyone's just running around in circles.
I mean, Giant Sword's back with the Inhumans, which, not surprising, because him and Crystal always have that thing.
Isn't Beast in the Inhumans?
Yeah, don't ask me why. Do not ask me why.
That's a very good question. Unfortunately,
even Iron Man asked him in the Civil War 2 arc. He was like, "Why are you?" I'm like, "Why is he?" And like, no, I'm not even going to ask why. I don't know.
So
I feel like Civil War 2 was kind of a waste.
Half of it was good.
Half of it was okay. I did like the whole. Its plot reminded me a lot of what's that movie with Tom Cruise? Or the guy and the girl can predict the future. Is it Minority Report?
Yeah, Minority Report.
Okay, it reminded me of that, but they took it way too overboard.
Well, the problem is that the first half, it's a really good setup, and then they proceeded to spend the better part of a year on the last 4 issues, and it just got completely fell apart.
Okay, that was their own fault. That guy, before that guy took time off, he should have at least had up to the last 2 issues done.
Wait, he took a vacation?
Oh no, something about his wife being pregnant or something. I can't remember.
Oh, how dare he?
I'm like, okay, dude. I'm like, or at least Marvel should have had a backup artist.
Yeah, like
I feel like say for example, you end up in an accident, you're the writer. You should probably have a backup writer, because they're not going to stop a book for like 4 months.
Look,
that's when you lose sales.
This isn't Frank Miller writing the Master Race comics.
Wait, that's still going?
There's like 1 more issue left.
Wait, that was a whole series? I thought that was just 1 issue.
No, he was writing The Dark Knight 3, so...
That tells you how much I pay attention to that one.
Well, I like Frank Miller, so I've been following it for some reason.
That... all 82, variant covers of #1. They're just panels from the original Dark Knight.
I got the one that was exclusive to Graham Cracker, so...
I don't remember which one. I picked it up. I don't even remember if I read it or not.
It's been okay. It's better than Dark Knight Strikes Back, but... That's not a high bar to hit.
Yeah, that's... It's like Batman, you either do really well or do really bad. There is no in between.
Well, I like it just because we actually get to see a lot of the cool ideas he was scratching at in Strikes Back, but actually played out in a good comic. So we get to see Flash and Superman and Wonder Woman like a better version of it.
That's one where Green Arrow loses his arm because Superman just zaps it off, right? That's that timeline. He zaps off Green Arrow's arm. What an asshole.
Well, but there's an interview. I just watched an interview with Frank Miller a couple weeks ago, and he was like, "Do you not like Superman?" Of course I don't.
Of course I don't.
How can you like him? He's so much better than everyone else. And he just goes on like that. And he's like, "Wait, why did you draw this comic to begin with?" Well, I can't stand the idea of Batman being being younger than me. So he keeps artificially aging him. Apparently, Frank Miller is going to be at C2E2 next week.
Is he?
He's going to be opposite Stan Lee for a panel.
Oh god, I don't even want to imagine those lines.
It's going to be a panel, not like a line. So.
Oh.
Stan Lee's not doing signings anymore just because he's getting older. So.
I don't want to do it either. I don't want to do it either. I don't want some little shit coming up to me with a Batman comic or a Superman comic saying, "Oh, I got it signed by Stan Lee." Motherfucker, I'll find you. I'll burn that goddamn comic.
Bob Kane is rolling in his grave right now. Apparently, Stan Lee and Bob Kane were rivals for the longest time.
Why wouldn't they be?
Well, all the animators from comics knew each other. So, but
yeah, they all knew each other. It's a tight little group right there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Imagine if Jack Kirby was still alive.
What was Stan Lee's deal with Jack Kirby that like he got screwed out of his like fame for a long time.
I don't remember.
I just heard that there's some sort of situation with Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, but I wasn't sure.
That's an artist right there.
Oh yeah, he drew Marvel, all of it.
And then I forgot who drew it after him.
Dozens of writers or drawers.
And now we got these little shits now that think they can draw, but never went to college.
Yeah, they just keep like importing all these like second-rate artists at Marvel. So like,
and they like, am I gonna lie, they look like high school kids draw them.
I don't know what's going on with Marvel right now. I think they've got like 3 good animated like people who can draw, and that's about it. And they stick them on the most random projects too.
I think the artist for Mighty Thor does okay. Unworthy Thor was drawn really well. That's all I really can think of. Black Panther was drawn pretty well.
How much do you like the new Black Panther series?
I collect it, but I only read halfway. So far, I liked it.
It's really dense. It's kind of hard to get into.
It kind of is. But I do like the concept of his people don't like him that much anymore after Namor flooded it during Avengers vs. X-Men. The Black Order attacked it during Infinity, and he wasn't there to help him out. I'd probably be pretty pissed at him too. And now he's trying to redeem himself.
Yeah, the poor Wakanda's just gotten so messed up recently.
And like this is like this is the most high-tech place on the Earth.
To be fair, it is Thanos.
It is Thanos, and you had Namor with the Phoenix in him. No,
Namor had the Phoenix?
Didn't you read Avengers vs. X-Men?
It's been forever since I've looked into it, but
yeah,
him. I know
Cyclops.
I knew Cyclops got the Phoenix. But...
Emma, Colossus, and Magic.
Colossus with the Phoenix.
Yeah, that was the weirdest. I was like, but it's split into 5 ways.
What does it do? Make him more metal?
God. But you find out like once you defeat that one person with the Phoenix, it disperses into the other ones.
Oh jeez, it makes them all stronger.
Yeah, so my favorite part that Spider-Man did was he fought Colossus and Magic to like slow them down. And he told me, he was like, you guys know if whoever loses their Phoenix powers, it gets transferred to another person. And they kind of look at each other, and I'm like, oh my god, they're about to duke it out just to see who's going to get the power. I'm like, that's one way to outsmart them.
That's great. Anyway.
What do you think of Jeff Goldblum looking, how he looks for a Grandmaster?
He's Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, see, I don't know why they didn't just paint his face blue at that point.
Who do you think Stallone's gonna end up being?
I heard saying he's gonna be the original Noah of, like, Rich. I really hope not.
My secret hope is he ends up being Adam Warlock, but I don't know. Because apparently, like, one of the big plot points for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is that the race that they're working with is, like, an entire race of gold people. So I'm just sitting here, like, biting my fingers, like, if you don't introduce Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm going to punch someone.
That's what they said they were going to introduce him in Guardians 2.
I've heard so many mixed things about that. Like, because then I know Thanos isn't going to be in it, but I don't know.
He was barely in 1. He was like, at that point, you might as well not even put him in 1.
Well, apparently Joss Whedon just kept telling everyone when, like, he kept interfering with scriptwriters who were trying to write Thanos into stuff, so...
I mean, it kind of did fit in 1, but at the same time, like, there was kind of no need for him.
I guess, but now we don't... Now we're 12 films into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and we know nothing about this version of him.
Other than he likes to sit in the chair.
He likes the chair, he has a glove, and he's going to do it himself. But I assume...
Obviously, it's been taking a long time. He's going to do it his damn self.
I assume Hela in Thor Ragnarok's going to be this version of Death.
I'm assuming so, because I don't think they're going to do, like, actual death.
Well, because it would make sense just that you set it up in Ragnarok, that way you just don't bother for the, like, just having to have 2 characters that are essentially the same function. So
Yeah. I just want to know how she breaks the hammer. That was impressive.
I assume if she's going to be the stand-in for Death, then she is powerful enough to break the hammer.
And I wonder if they're actually going to, like, say that she's Loki's daughter and Thor's niece. Because that's how it is in the comics, is she is...
Loki's daughter with whom?
I don't know.
We don't even have the Enchantress in this version, so...
Yeah, but we have Executioner, so... You can't just have Executioner without Enchantress.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they haven't even done Boulder yet. Or Tyre.
How do you think they're gonna? How do you think they're gonna deal with future Thor movies? Do you think they're gonna kind of wrap it with Chris Hemsworth, or?
I don't know. I don't know a better actor to do it than Chris Hemsworth.
Do you think they pass the mantle to someone else, or do you think they
hopefully they don't go the way of Jane Thor.
Well, I don't think Natalie Portman's coming back. If they do, that would be like, we have the least charismatic actress on the planet. Let's give her the Thor mantle. That would be a mess.
I really just hope they just get rid of Jane Thor soon.
I heard that they're going to kind of start turning a little bit back to classic Marvel after all the backlash recently, so...
I mean, they might as well. I mean, who wants to read a book about Amadeus Cho as Hulk?
Who's reading that?
That's on the verge of getting canceled.
Couldn't even keep the She-Hulk comic going for more than a year.
That's already canceled?
Well, they ran the one they did before. It was pretty okay. I read it for a while, but it died after a year, so...
I don't know. I mean, it's like, why did you make Falcon the character that no one respects, Captain America?
No one likes Falcon?
I didn't like Falcon. My
only problem with Falcon is that the movie interpretation is so weak. I don't know.
I just never liked him as a... He's that sidekick character. That's all he'll ever be in my eye.
I don't want to give him too much trouble because he's a good sidekick, but I don't know. Outside of his appearances in Captain America, I don't know.
I mean, even in the comics, Thor and Hulk both say to him, "We do not respect you enough to be Captain America."
Oh.
I was like, damn. It means you're a shitty Captain America.
Well, now they're just using the comic to just throw like Nick Spencer's politics into the out.
Well, no, they did that in Access.
In Access?
Yeah.
What was the thing? What did they do in Access with Captain America? Or
where it was like the first time Sam became Captain America.
Yeah. That was.
And Thor lost the hammer, so he's running around with the axe.
What was the axe?
I can't remember the name of the axe. That's the axe he always used when he was unworthy, or when he was younger before he ever got the hammer.
Okay, that's interesting. I wasn't sure when I read that originally because at that point he hadn't run off and started doing his own thing yet. So
no, he still had his arm but he still ran around with the axe.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that when I read that to begin with.
I know I did like they brought back the whole the goat thing. Cause it's like, why did you guys introduce the whole tooth gnasher and tooth gasher? But you just never use them anymore.
Did you read the Malekith arc from a couple of years ago?
That was in the beginning of like when Jane became Thor, right?
That was right before.
Then I probably didn't.
Okay, that was pretty good from what I read of it. That was I think they kind of released it to kind of coincide with Dark World, but
I always liked Malekith as a villain.
In the movie version was a little bit weak, but
yeah, I mean then again, they probably didn't do a lot of research on it.
I guess not. It's hard to tell. I mean, it's Marvel.
I mean, when you got Loki, who are you really gonna do?
I don't know. They probably could have come up with a better story for Dark World, but
they could have done Vader rebuild for that movie.
I don't think they're gonna do Vader rebuild at this point, and that's so sad.
Probably not.
I wish they would like stop trimming out all these like cool like random aspects of the movies. Just like Like, the movies generally do a good job of, like, getting the core characters right, but they cut out all those ancillary characters.
I mean, we could... Like, Incredible Hulk. They in that movie, he's in goddamn Canada. You know how awesome that would have been, the next movie, for him to fight Wendigo, and then Wolverine show up? That would have made so much money.
Yeah, they don't get along with Fox that well. There's not enough money in the world for that.
I don't care. That would have been the best movie ever.
I know Hugh Jackman is willing to come back as Wolverine if he gets to do it in an Avengers movie, but
I would.
He's so half-hearted about the whole like ending the Wolverine thing, like
because he didn't want to stop doing it because he wanted to be with everyone.
Well, he's like, I don't know. He's I don't think Fox didn't kick him out or anything.
No, he just stopped doing it because he's like, well, what else can I do? What I really want to do, I can't do.
Yeah, so just wrap it up in an efficient way. But yeah, I mean, he would totally go back. He would totally go do it with MCU if he could. But Fox is currently in
I mean, it would be cool to see him and Captain America together. I mean, if they did it right, they could have been like, oh, I remember you from World War II.
Yeah,
World War II,
so good.
World War II buddies.
With that, we need a flashback. It's just like, hey, I remember you. You were that soldier that clawed what?
You were the one with the claws. Oh, now they're metal. Sweet.
I remember I was watching one of the more recent Avengers cartoons a couple years ago, and the first episode is the Normandy landings, and you see Captain America, and then you see Wolverine in the background clawing people up, but you don't directly see it. So it's kind of like, I love that detail so much.
Because they're never gonna because Wolverine's not meant for kids.
Well, I know when there was a point in that cartoon when Wolverine does show up, there's a moment of implied extreme gore, but that doesn't actually happen. Just like, you can kind of like sense off screen something really gory is happening. So.
That was back when they could put X-Men in the cartoons.
Oh man, no. These Marvel TV cartoons are just getting so much worse.
They are, because they're getting kidder and kidder and kidder.
Well, they're also getting more and more based off of the movies to the point where it's just getting annoying. Like, they did an entire version of an Avengers cartoon specifically where Ultron is the villain consistently.
You talking about Ultron Revelation for Avengers?
You
talking about that season 4 of Avengers? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so stupid.
Yeah, I keep seeing ads for it. I think it's still going on.
No, it ended.
Good.
I don't know if what season 5 is going to be.
I watched one episode of Ultron Revolution, and I was so sick of it by the end of it.
My favorite episode of that is still when Odin comes to Earth and says, all right, Thor, come on, let's go. He's like, we're done here. And then Hulk just straight up tackles the crap out of him. And then they're all like, dude, you just tackled Odin, holy shit. And then Odin just gets up and starts laughing. And we're like, dude, you're so lucky he didn't kill you.
Can Odin kill Thor? Or can Odin kill Hulk? My brain.
Yeah.
I think I just crossed the wires in my brain for half a second.
Why would he not be able to kill Hulk?
Because he's the Hulk. You can't kill
You can kill the Hulk.
It's very difficult to do so.
Yeah.
Unless you're Hawkeye.
Yeah, but you act like the ruler of Asgard couldn't do it. I mean, if Thor can knock Hulk out in one hit, I'm assuming Odin can do it.
When did Thor knock Hulk out?
I forgot what issue it is. But he just straight up one hit someone, everyone's like, what the fuck?
I assume it's a very rare occasion where anything can stand up to the Hulk, but...
Well, it's like, Thor doesn't go all out. He has, he gets really cocky. He says, oh, I don't need to use all my power.
It was a big deal in the Avengers movies, just their rivalry, but...
I've always liked their rivalry. It's like... it's like brothers.
They're basically the only two members of the team that reasonably can't be beaten by the other ones, so...
Exactly. And they know it. And everyone else knows it.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, hey, we got a god and a person with the godlike strength. Let's not fuck with them. But it's like, well, if you take them out, what do they have?
Civil War.
No, I mean, like, if someone fought the Avengers, you just take those two out, what do you really have?
A very old man and a guy with a suit.
And a guy with a bow. And a chick with guns.
Basically the cast of Civil War.
I feel like they should have added in more characters to that.
It would have been more of a cluster than it already was, honestly.
I feel like it wasn't that much of a cluster.
I didn't hate the movie or anything. I just thought that
it could have been like the comic Civil War, where everyone was in.
I would have preferred if they called it an Avengers Civil War and done a proper Captain America 3, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I know they were trying to kill two birds with one stone, but it just kind of robbed it of that, like, this is the last, like, great Chris Evans Captain America movie, and it's like, I don't know.
I don't even know what they're going to do for him now. I feel like they're going to go towards the U.S. agent, where he became a U.S. agent for a while.
He's probably going to retire soon. Like,
then who are we going to get for Steve?
I assume it's going to go to Bucky for a while, and then maybe Falcon.
I think once they do Falcon, I'm just never going to watch a Captain America movie.
I assume that's going to be like a background detail. Like, if I had to guess if they're going to do a Captain America 4, it's probably going to be two Americas, and it's going to be Bucky and Falcon trying to figure out what to do without Captain America around.
Well, that's how it was, like, after Captain America 600, when Bucky was Cap.
Yeah.
And when Falcon were good friends.
Yeah, I love the Brubaker run. I think that they could do a really good job just having him be captain for a while.
They could do the crazy Captain America from like the 50s where he thought he actually was Steve.
Oh man, that
would have been a really good movie. I think they could have done that really well.
They could still do it with Bucky. I think they need to do a lot more character building with Bucky though, just because they haven't done much with him yet. He's had so little screen time in his films that we don't know much about him as a character.
He did really well in Civil War, especially like him and like Falcon's back at each other.
Yeah, I still think there needs to be more character building with him.
Yeah.
When I think about, like, Bucky is going to be Captain America, I don't necessarily feel all that much about it. It's just like, oh, well, that happened in the comics, so that's probably what's going to happen, not, like, huge emotional impact. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, they'll probably see a lot more from him in Black Panther, because...
Is that official now?
Yeah, Black Panther's official.
I mean, obviously that, but is it official that he's going to be in Black Panther?
I assume... I feel like they're not going to do, like, a prequel to it, because, like, why?
To Black Panther? Or?
I don't know, like, the prequel, like, Black Panther being a prequel to, like, Civil War.
No, because I've heard that Bucky's supposed to be in Black Panther, so...
Yeah. And all the other Avengers are there, so it's like, might as well just make it Black Panther and have him, like, saying, no, let me handle my country. With
the possible exception of Doctor Strange, I don't think any of the movies have taken place at all before any of the other movies. Because I know that there's like
when did Doctor Strange take place? Because I've been trying to figure that out.
There's a background detail early in the movie where they mention a guy was injured in a suit, in a suit injury. But there's also a time leap in the movie, so I'm assuming it's possible the first part of the movie takes place sometime after Iron Man 2 or the Avengers, and then it just kind of ends in modern day.
Well, because I know in Captain America 2, they mention his name.
Well, I think the implication of that is just that he's a very famous scientist, not that he is actually Doctor Strange.
Ah.
That was the explanation that was given, because at that point they hadn't written the script for it yet, so...
Honestly, I would probably like to see the Netflix TV show, like the TV series, like meet the movies.
I do too. I just don't know what they plan to do with it, because apparently there's some sort of like barrier between that. I don't know.
How are you going to mention what happened to New York in the Netflix series and just never do anything with it? Because you're doing it in Daredevil, you're doing it in Luke Cage. I think they did it in Jessica Jones.
Well, Jessica Jones felt more like a Daredevil like offshoot than a Avengers offshoot like Daredevil did.
Yeah. You could have Spider-Man meet Daredevil and have him train under him for a while, like he did in the comics.
That might be interesting. I mean, I don't know if Tom Holland would be up for a Netflix series, but
or they could do what I actually would like is have Daredevil and Black Widow, because they were a couple for a long time.
I don't know if Scarlett Johansson would be up with that for that. She's still like one of the most underpaid actresses in MCU, so
I feel like, I mean, if you really wanted to do it, you can get someone that kind of looks like Scarlett Johansson and do it.
They wouldn't do that. That would be basically saying that it's not even the same universe.
True, but then again, they did it with Hulk.
I guess, but that was just because they lost what's his name?
Edward Norton.
Yeah, why did he stop doing that?
I don't even know. He was a perfect banner. I didn't care for Mark Ruffalo. Is that his name?
Yeah, I like him as Hulk.
I don't like him as a Banner. Banner's supposed to be this scrawny dude.
I think he plays him as a dweeb more than anything else.
I was saying Mark Ruffalo was more of a bigger dude.
Yeah, they play Mark Ruffalo just more as kind of a dweeby guy, but I think it kind of works with the version they're going with, where they kind of imply that Hulk is kind of like in a later stage version of Hulk, where he's kind of figured out how to control the power, so...
I thought that was really weird. And I kind of want him to talk. Like, Hulk, like, he would, like, talk like Frankenstein, but he'd still talk.
We almost got Grey Hulk in Age of Ultron.
Did we?
Almost.
We could have had a Joe Fixon movie. See, that could have been your third Hulk movie.
Wait, do we count the 2002 Hulk movie?
No, that movie never existed.
I seen the first 5 minutes of it, and it was pretentious Ang Lee crap, and I immediately turned it off.
I went to go see that in theaters.
Alright, sorry about that. For some reason, the thing just died, like the card pulled up like in the middle of the recording, so... Anyway, you were saying?
I'm gonna lie, but hold on, I'm looking at a group chat right now. So I apologize, people, but it's getting kind of interesting. Holy, never mind. I'll look at that later.
Now where they're invested.
What?
Now the audience is invested in your conversation.
Oh well, then they'll have to find out what I'm invested in.
Screw those guys. Anyway. What were we discussing a minute ago?
We discussed the Jimmy Neutron, how it did a good parody off Heroes.
Oh yeah, that was great. That was... I don't remember how good of a show that was, because it's been like...
It was a really good show. I did like when Fairy Odd Parents did Galactus and Silver Surfer. That was...
Galactimus! The Eater of Planets!
And they made Silver Surfer like a skateboarder. He's like, hey, where are my pants? I was like, see, they did this perfectly.
Yeah, that was like borderline plagiarism, but it was great.
I don't think they even changed the color either. Like, he was still pink. He was still pink and blue.
Well, Galactus is purple, so...
Roughly purple. They kind of used to draw him kind of pinkish.
I'm consulting Infinity Gauntlet again, because I have it right next to me. Okay, this is a really weird shade, because it's like... It's half pink, half purple, and it's contrasted with with bluish green.
See, I told you. It's pretty much like pink.
It looks purple with in contrast with the blue, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looks darker because the shade of blue they're going with is like borderline turquoise, so it's not easy to look without like a color with one of those like paint whatchamacallit you get from like Home Depot. What kind of shade is this specifically? Anyway, wait, wanna cover one like just that's gonna go on with the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the future, and then kind of call it a night?
Sure, why not?
So, other than we've done a good amount of discussion on Thor. Was there anything else you wanted to go with in the trailer that kind of popped out?
I'm trying to remember almost the trailer.
Hammer gets destroyed. He gets sent to hell.
And he gets it's not hell.
It's like Norse
hell. It's in the beginning. I'm pretty sure that's Surtur's realm, because all the lava.
He was in Age of Ultron, right? That was he applied in the Age of Ultron.
Yeah, that was implied in Age of Ultron.
Okay, and then there's then Asgard is destroyed by Hela.
Yeah.
And Kate Blanchett is chewing the scenery with that. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If fire consumes Asgard, and I assume this is going to be an excuse to bring in Asgardia at some point. Then you see Jeff Goldblum and Loki overlooking the fighting arena with Thor and Hulk, and Thor gets really excited
because he's like, "Yeah, my friend."
Yes.
And everyone's like, "What the hell?"
I know him from work.
I like how he's not even questioning how they got him. They're just like, "Okay, he's here."
Well, last time we saw Hulk, you brought this up earlier, and I didn't bring it up. Last time we saw Hulk, it was at the end of Age of Ultron in the Quinjet.
Yeah.
So apparently, the original ending they were gonna shoot, but they didn't for some reason, was he flies it into space because he wants to kill himself, and then it just kind of cuts off. But it's just you just see it kind of fly off in the movie, and then it doesn't go when you don't know what happened. So,
I mean, yeah. If they want to do it how actual Planet Hulk, they couldn't do it because you don't have Reed, you don't have Black Bolt, you don't have
Iron Man couldn't have just been the one to do it.
Yeah, but then is he just gonna come back if they did a World War Hulk movie and then come back and try to kill Iron Man?
I would love a World War Hulk movie. I don't know.
I would like it too, but they don't have enough characters to do it to make it actually good.
Who ends up being the one that stops Hulk in the comic?
Sentry.
Okay, because I remember he gets insanely powerful to an insane to a degree that never before or something like that, right?
That's because he's always been told to hold back, and then everyone's like,
he's so mad.
Yeah.
He has rage-based powers. But yeah.
Hopefully they do Sentry in the movies. It would be interesting to see him.
They need to find more ways to bring really good characters into the mix that aren't the more traditional ones, because I figure they're gonna start doing new Avengers movies after they've lost the cast. So they're gonna have Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, maybe Hawkeye. They're probably gonna keep Black Widow around. I'll bet Mark Ruffalo's not going to go anywhere for a long time, because he doesn't have his performances aren't that exhausting.
No.
He shows up on set, complains for a while, and then they have some guy in a CG suit do the rest.
They could do She-Hulk.
I would love a She-Hulk movie. I think there's no rights tangle with that, so I'm surprised they haven't done it.
That's what I was surprised too, because they don't have a lot of heavy hitters in the Marvel Universe, cinematic.
Yeah, well, I think the idea is they're trying to do an Ultimate style, slimmed down version of the Marvel Universe that's a little bit easier to understand. Unfortunately, it's getting to the point where it's no longer easy to understand.
No, not really.
Just go full, in-depth continuity and just start pulling out deep lore characters to start filling out the ranks a little bit. I don't think you could do a comic book style 30-member Avengers team, but you could pull out some more obscure characters and make them work.
I mean, there's a lot of other heroes that they've missed that they could do.
And villains.
You know, Abomination was supposed to be the secondary villain to Age of Ultron?
Really?
Yeah, I was like, why did they do that? That would be interesting to see them all oh, who is this?
Age of Ultron went through about 50 different script rewrites, so it's not hard to see why that happened. Originally it was supposed to be a smaller movie than the Avengers, just because he wanted to do the dark middle chapter where all the characters just kind of have problems, and then it turned into an even bigger movie, and the script got bloated, and everyone didn't like it. No one's watched it in 4 years now. Or 2 years now, so I don't know. It's kind of sad that movie has kind of begun utterly forgotten at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it did introduce Vision, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver, so...
Well, do you think they were better in Civil War?
Yeah, kind of.
They felt a little bit more fit, like... I don't know if it was that they felt a little bit... They had more going on, but... I don't know. They felt like more... I can't even say the word I'm trying to think of right now. Finish, I guess? It's like seeing their final versions on screen, so...
I don't even know why they kill off Quicksilver. You gotta kill off the one of the twins?
They needed to kill someone.
I don't think they needed to kill anyone. I feel like everyone wanted them to kill off Hawkeye, and they're like, no, we're gonna give him a family, so now you people feel like assholes for wanting to kill him. And I'm like...
That was the whole, like, that was like a red herring, is like, we were specifically setting up Hawkeye with, like, stakes, and then killing him. I don't know, I feel
like I would have felt bad for the family.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like...
Just thinking, I think the movie was setting up for that, honestly. I don't know.
It should have been.
Especially since... I don't know. How much more mileage do you think they can get out of Hawkeye?
Not much, considering didn't he want to stop being Hawkeye?
Does he?
Thought he did.
I just remember... I don't think he didn't have much to do in Civil War, so...
Not really.
Yeah, he doesn't even have like a character arc anymore. He literally betrays his kids so that he can help.
It's true. He did betray his family.
Same with Ant-Man. Like that's like the biggest problem that I have with that movie is that Ant-Man just completely forgoes his entire arc in the previous movie, where he's learning to be a better dad. Then he's like, oh, I'm gonna be a thief again.
It's more like they stopped him for a good cause.
I guess
because Captain America was right.
I guess you could say that, like, he was kind of suckered into it by celebrity. It's like, holy crap, Captain America needs my help. I'm going to help Captain America.
I would.
Well, yes, but he's unintentionally, like, betraying his daughter and getting stuck in jail again.
I mean, if they go the way of Scott Lang, Ant-Man, he's then going to die.
You think he's going to die?
Yeah, because he's not alive in the comic universe.
He's alive at the moment.
No, he's not.
They did an Ant-Man series like 2 years ago. Did
they bring him back then?
I think so. I read like one issue of it and he was alive, so...
What the hell? Because someone blows up and he gets caught in it. Because then his daughter actually becomes a giant man.
I don't know. Honestly, I just know that Scott Lang was alive the last time I checked, but he could be dead again.
I don't know. No one ever truly dies and stays dead in Marvel.
No, they were for a while.
Except for Captain Marvel. The one character that I think they should bring back.
For a long time, there was like 5 characters they could not bring back. Like Uncle Ben, Bucky Barnes, Marvel, and for some reason, they've already brought back Bucky Barnes, and they
were trying to bring back Ben.
No, you can't do that. You just do
that's what Clone Conspiracy was. Ben Reilly was trying to bring him back.
You shouldn't do that. It's a bad idea. I didn't read Clone Conspiracy.
I didn't either. I just know that that's what they were trying to do.
I'm so lost in the Spider-Man issues. Like, I tried picking it up right after Superior Spider-Man ended, and just like kind of get a follow for a while.
I did that for a while, up until Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that got weird. Like,
that was cool. You saw the different Spider-Men. Bruce Banner was a Spider-Man in one of the dimensions. That was cool.
I like Silk a lot. I think that was a cool character idea.
That was interesting.
Like, of all the things to come out of Original Sin, that's probably one of the better ones. Anyway.
I wonder how long it is till they make her into the movies.
That would be cool. Like, that would be like a recent addition. They could make it into an interesting, like, side character.
I think they should do Spider-Woman before they do Silk.
I don't know if they would. I mean, that would be cool, but I don't know if they would.
Like, what? Why wouldn't they do it?
I don't know. It just strikes me as, like, one of those kind of, like, slightly too... Like, people who don't know what the Spider-Woman is conceptually would think it's kind of cynical. I don't know.
Probably.
I think She-Hulk's not even as bad as that, but I'm sure a lot of people would, like, see, like, She-Hulk? What is this? It sounds so cynical. Why would you make a She-Hulk movie? It's like a Hulk movie with a girl. It's like that would probably be the only reason why I can imagine.
Spark up feminists. I mean, to be fair, they've been around forever, and if they're gonna get mad over it if they make a movie.
Well, the origin of those characters is interesting because they were the only characters that Stan Lee ever did that were spin-offs of previously established characters.
Yeah.
Because they had been selling TV rights and they didn't want people to like create fictional versions of those characters. So it was like, oh, well, we'll do it first, and then they created She-Hulk and Spider-Woman, and they're good characters. So I'd love to see them come in at some point, but I just don't see it happening anytime soon. But
I can't see it. Honestly, I can't think of another hero they could bring in for any of the movies.
There's probably some people they could bring in. They could do Hercules, Amadeus Cho.
I think they should do Hercules. They could have done that in Thor.
Maybe if they can keep Chris Hemsworth around for another Thor movie, that's what they'll do.
I don't know who they. I feel like Channing Tatum would probably do a decent Hercules.
Channing Tatum's already Gambit.
We don't count that as a person. If Channing Tatum was a bit taller, he'd probably do a pretty good Hercules.
Are we just gonna globally like disregard that Gambit movie?
I mean, Fox did. Might as well. We might as well do.
They're still gonna do it though.
Are they really? Because
yeah.
It's like 2 years late.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out 2 years ago, and it's still in pre-production.
Hey, Channing Tatum just looks nothing like Gambit.
Yeah, and it's a terrible concept to begin with.
The dude from X-Men Origins, he played a really good Gambit.
Yes, but that was all. He was also a side character in the movie, so he was just hanging out with the cast. It's different than having him be like a main cast member, like the central character of a movie.
I feel like he could do a really good Gambit.
I don't know if you could do a Gambit movie that well though. I don't know.
I don't know what he'd do for most of the movie. Him hit on Rogue? Who would you get to
There's
play
no Rogue.
Exactly. That's always been the little like thing going back and forth. And it's like Wolverine and Jean Grey.
Or Jean Grey and Scott.
We don't. That's
or Wolverine and Scott.
That's not something we talk about.
That's fan fiction levels of creep right there.
That's that part of the internet that where we don't go near.
For very good reasons. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the other movies coming out this year from Marvel?
Guardians 2 looks like it'd be good. I don't have a lot to say about it. I don't really like what they did to Star-Lord. Cause Star-Lord, like when he first came out, he was a badass.
And you don't like that they're playing it so jovially?
Like he's a dumbass. Like, I love Chris Pratt. He's a good actor. I just don't like the way they did with Star-Lord. Like even the comics, like he wasn't that much of an idiot.
I think he's becoming an idiot because like all the comic books are gradually turning into the movie versions. So.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, you shouldn't be like doing that. You should keep it separate.
I like when they still had his old costume that looked like a freaking like the front half of a steam locomotive that was just kind of this bizarre helmet looking thing, and I just it was different, and now they just make it look like the robot mask from Guardians of the Galaxy. So.
And I did like that. I'm like, I liked that outfit where they all had like the same matching outfit. That was my favorite outfit they had.
I think they established in one of the recent Thanos comics that like that there's some sort of like official reason why all the characters are starting to get a little bit closer to their movie versions. Like, I forget which one it was. It was one of the more the recent Jim Starlin Thanos books. But it's like two versions of the Marvel Universe got slammed together, and one of them was is slightly more similar to the movie universe. So.
You're talking about like in how Secret Wars was?
No, it was one of Jim Starlin's been doing his like bunch of one-offs with Thanos lately. So.
Oh.
They've been okay. There's been some confusing deep lore stuff in it, but it's not bad. So.
But I am excited for Spider-Man. They did Vulture.
Oh man,
that should be good.
I'm I'm wondering if they might be throwing out a little bit too much in the movie, just because there's a lot of things that seem a little bit out of place going on in it. But
like,
I don't know, just seeing Tony Stark in a Spider-Man movie, and I want to know what they're actually doing with Vulture's backstory, because Vulture's never been a terribly complex character, so just kind of trying to make him like super deep in the vein of what they've been doing with a lot of the recent like villains. Just kind of it's kind of different. I don't know.
Yeah, I did like how they showed the old suit. That was cool. Kind of give like the Scarlet Spider kind of twist.
I think the big idea is like at some point. Did you see the most recent trailer for it?
Yeah.
I think he loses the suit some way halfway through the movie. So
no, because Tony Stark says give it back as Tony Stark's a child.
Yeah, I'm getting lectured by Tony Stark on being irresponsible. Thanks a lot.
Oh, it's not like I created a killer robot like 2 years ago.
Hypocrite!
Oh, who said that? That's what I was always mad about Civil War. In Civil War, they're talking about like all the shit they did. I'm like, motherfucker, you created a killer AI that was going to destroy the planet like not even a couple months ago. You can't be lecturing on we need regulations.
Yeah.
That motherfucker, you need the goddamn regulations.
What a mess.
But hopefully they do well with the Spider-Man movie, and they do more. Cause they've
already announced second Spider-Man movie, so.
Because I would love to see Kraven. That's the villain I wanted to see in a Spider-Man movie for a long time.
Supposedly they were going to do Kraven in Amazing Spider-Man 3.
Damn it!
Well, it would have been a terrible Kraven, but...
It'd still be a Kraven.
I don't know.
Can it be any worse than the Green Goblin?
It could have been much, much worse.
Willem Dafoe will always be the best Green Goblin. Do you know how much I sacrificed?
I hope you're taking
That'll
notes.
be the best line. That was the best line in that movie.
I love old Spider-Man. Like, what do you love? How much do you like old Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies?
Not a whole lot. I didn't care for Tobey Maguire.
Okay. I know that's kind of a contentious issue nowadays, where everyone's just like picking on the old Spider-Man movies, but I don't know. I love Spider-Man too.
He was just He was whiny as a Parker, but like as Spider-Man, he was good.
I thought it was a decent representation of like Silver Age Peter Parker.
Yeah, but
That was what they were going for. So
Andrew Garfield did pretty good.
Andrew Garfield is definitely playing modern Spider-Man. He's playing it much more jovially, but he was such a terrible Peter Parker, and the movies were terrible too. all the
ad placements, all the Sony placements too.
You know what? I'll be honest. Ad placements in movies don't bother me at all.
They don't either. It's like when you see like those trailers for it.
I watch Man of Steel and I just want to eat IHOP. Or I was watching a really in-depth review for Demolition Man last week, and I immediately got cravings for Taco Bell.
Man of Steel. That's a topic for another day.
That
whole cinematic universe.
Let's do like a DC podcast discussion.
Wow. All right, hold on. This is summing up. It's a flop.
This would be a good discussion for like in depth for another day. But
yeah, we should probably we can get like some Marvel people and some DC people in here and see how they feel.
You know Tom, right?
Which one?
Tom Franklin.
Probably. I can't remember. I can't remember everyone from high school.
He wasn't at our high school, but I just know if you might have known him tangentially because everyone I know knows him somehow.
Thomas Franklin.
But
hold on, that's what Facebook is for.
Whatever. Anyway. Is it weird that we're just a year out from Infinity War?
You know, I thought about that as we were talking, and yeah, kind of.
You know what? There's one thing that's going to kill this movie for me if it doesn't work. This movie has to basically be insanely cathartic and deliver. If it doesn't, it's going to wreck the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Talking about this dude?
Yeah, that dude.
I feel like I know him from somewhere. I don't even know.
He knows everyone I know somehow. You know what I mean with Infinity War?
Yeah.
I feel like these movies have been building up for so long that they have to start paying off. Otherwise, people are just going to get so mad at it.
Well, it's like... It's kind of like the hype, like how much hype Star Wars Episode 7 had, how much hype Fallout 4 had, and people build up to that high expectation. When they got it, it's like it's not what they wanted.
Yeah, same with Age of Ultron, honestly. But
I kind of went in with it into that movie with like kind of low expectations.
Really?
Well, because I was like, it's gonna be a sequel. Most sequels aren't that great, except for Captain America 2. That was a damn good movie.
Yeah, and
I think it's funny that Iron Man 1 was a great movie, and then all those other movies were complete shit.
I love Iron Man 3, honestly.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
No, you do not.
Do you know anything about Shane Black?
Who?
The director?
All I know is that he did not make Mandarin right.
Look up his other movies. In Iron Man 3 will make so much sense. Like, I've seen all of his other movies, and watching Iron Man 3, I'm just like, okay, I get what this guy is doing.
Alright, we're running off the comic book, like, nerd thing, and no. How are you just, like, not gonna make Mandarin his number one enemy?
Because it fits within the tone of that movie.
I don't give a shit. That should have been...
And they promised it in that Thor: The Dark World sketch, so...
What, that they weren't gonna do it?
That they're gonna do... There was a short film, back when Marvel did short films that came out with the DVDs. They promised that there's going to be a better version of the Mandarin at some point.
I feel like they did that just so they knew fans were just gonna get pissed.
Well, placation is certainly a factor involved, but I wouldn't... if they can keep Downey Jr. around long enough, I believe that they do it. I'd love for them to do like one more Iron Man movie and just kind of end Tony Stark's arc on that.
I feel like if they did it, they would have to do Crimson Dynamo or Titanium Man. Because those are his other villains.
Are you sure they wouldn't just do a Mandarin movie, like an actual Mandarin movie?
They could do all three. How like the first part, or like the first half of the movie, like him fight Crimson Dynamo and Titanium Man, and then like you find out that they're working with the Mandarin. So yeah, they probably could do it.
Okay, I'm still holding out that we get one more like really good Robert Downey performance, because honestly, if Infinity War ends up being his last one, I'm gonna be super disappointed.
Yeah, because I don't know who they get to play Iron Man.
They either stop making Iron Man movies or they recast it, which I don't know which is worse.
I feel like recasting if it's not the right person.
Yeah, that would probably be the worst one. I mean, they've done it once with Hulk, but they had a decent person to take the role up, and
yeah, I'll give them that. Even though I didn't care for it.
He'd only been in one movie, and it was not a super popular movie, so.
That is true.
Like, imagine I could imagine. Actually, I don't know I don't know if there's any Marvel characters other than maybe Iron Fist that they could recast at this point.
I don't mind Danny in this one.
I've heard a lot of people don't like it, but that's just what I've heard.
That's because they probably, I don't know. He fits how Danny actually acts. Danny's Zen. He's been with monks for most of his life.
I guess.
It would be interesting to see him duke it out with Sabretooth, because that's where Sabretooth got his first appearances in Iron Fist.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that for the longest time until I was about 13 or so. I actually have his first appearance. And that was before the whole Wolverine and Sabretooth
rivalry?
Yeah. It's like when Wolverine first appeared, they didn't classify him as a mutant.
Yeah, that's it. It's so weird, like, looking back at that origin. It's just like, he's not a mutant, and his claws aren't part of him.
His claw, yeah, he just wore the claws.
Well, they've rewritten the Wolverine origin 3 times, so what are you gonna do?
I mean, it can't be as bad as when DC did New 52.
No. We'll have to have you come back and do like a DC podcast, just because it's starting to get a little bit late. So.
Yeah. Plus, I'm not caught up on all of DC.
Yeah, I think it's time we wrap up. It's almost like 8. So.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we've been going on this for like an hour and a half. All right, man. Thank you so much for showing up. It got dark all of a sudden. We have been talking in the dark for like half an hour.
But
It's not really dark out. I mean, then again, it's like 8, but like, what did you expect?
it's dark in here. They can't tell because it's an audio-only podcast, but...
It's dark in here by his standards.
If it weren't just us, it would probably be weird, but it's not, so...
Probably.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming on, man.
You're welcome.
This has been fun.
I could be back on some other times.
Sure, man. We've been overdue for catching up for a long time, so...
We can get a good old group discussion in. That'll be interesting.
Sure. So this has been the Groupthink Podcast. Have a good night. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
See ya.